Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we will get started. Today I have my favorite, actually, really is, like I say that all the time, but this is really one of my faves. Lady Grey, a little bit of cream and sugar. Okay, a lot of cream, a little bit of sugar. Like that is the way I love to drink it. And where is my snack? Here it is. Okay, a Rice Krispie treat. Homemade Rice Krispie treat. It's my grandmother's recipe off the box. Um, Actually, I didn't use as many marshmallows as normal, so it really is my grandma's recipe. Anyway, let's get real. Back when I was a kid, you could do a lot more things with a lot less money. So when I was a teenager, actually, as a child, I do not remember going to many movies. It's not something, my sister has some memories of that. I do not remember going to a lot of movies um, until I became like 13, like teenager. And then they had a movie theater that was close to my house that was $1. And you'd call and you'd see they would be like at 4:15 this movie is playing, and at 3:15 this you'd have to listen to the movie phone. If anybody remembers those good old days where you listen to the movie phone. Anyway, and so I went to a lot of movies because it was $1. I didn't have a job. I actually was babysitting, I think, at the time, so all my babysitting money probably went towards movies. I saw my first James Bond movie in that dollar movie theater. I believe I saw Lion King in that movie theater. I saw a couple other movies at other movie theaters, but they were so expensive when you're used to paying $1. Never had a snack. In fact, I don't know that it wasn't until my adult life that I didn't think just rich people ate at movie theaters. Like, that was my thought process. Like, if you're rich, you eat at a movie theater. I never even snuck in snacks. Like, what was going on with me? I just go to the movie and watch a movie and hang out with my friends. Like, that's what it was. And it's, a couple months into the year at this point. And at the beginning of the year, I did probably the first time in my life, maybe the second time, because I think the first time I did it with somebody else. I bought one of those popcorn buckets that at a movie theater, you buy a bucket and then you can refill it for really cheap later throughout the year. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to invest in Jenny, and I'm going to go and I'm going to buy this popcorn bucket. Now, the thing that's really weird for me about that, now that I've thought about it a little bit more, I go to movies on Tuesdays at a specific theater. It is $5 for the movie. Actually, I think they just moved it up to $5.50. So $5.50 for a movie, and if you buy a small drink, you get a free popcorn. So why do I have a popcorn bucket? I'm not 100% sure. I gotta be honest with you. Now I'm like, why did I buy this popcorn bucket? Anyway, I was going to get something out of a cupboard at my house, and I'm like, there's my popcorn bucket. I haven't used it. I've used it once this year, and that's for the original filling. So I'm like, I have got to get to a movie, like, just to use my popcorn bucket. It's $3.50 to fill a popcorn bucket it's a big bucket of popcorn. Now, can I eat a whole bucket? No, I cannot. Is the free one that they give me that is probably the size of my hand enough? Yes, that's enough popcorn. But did I buy the bucket, and am I going to get my money's worth? Absolutely. So I'm actually staying at my mom's for like the last week and a half, and for a little bit longer after that, just to kind of be company and be there. And my mom had an event she needed to go to. So I'm like, I'm going to go use my popcorn bucket during this time. Like, I'm just going to show up, and I'm going to get a movie. I don't know what movie I want to see, because I wasn't like, oh, I have a movie, like when I was a kid, you went to hang out with friends. Then I got a little bit older, and I'm like, now I go to specific movies, and now I'm just going for the popcorn. I feel like it's been an evolution of my life that I'm just like, I want to go for popcorn. What movie's showing? Like, how have I gotten here? Anyway, So that day, I brought my popcorn bucket. I got there and I kind of looked up a movie that someone had talked about. It's called The Great Awakening, is the movie. And so I'm like, okay, it's showing at the right time because my mom was gone from point A to point B. And so I'm like, that's perfect. I will just, you know, go to this movie. And it was a really interesting movie. It was a church history movie meets an American history movie. So I am a American history buff. Like, set me down in front of a documentary that has something to do with American history, I am there all day. Like, just I love that kind of stuff. When I was homeschooling my poor daughter and she had to do American history, I gave her my favorite documentaries. I was like, you're going to watch presidents, you're going to watch Food That Built America. Like, these are the things you're going to watch because you're going to learn about America this way. And I think she actually loved it. And I loved it when I was a kid and a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old. My mom would drag us all over the country. And I say drag as if we didn't voluntarily go on these vacations. But maybe she drug us into every mansion of every president that has ever existed in the United States and anything that could have, we have been to the places. So I love history and I thought this is going to be great, right? Like American history meets church history. My husband is a huge church history guy, like loves church history. So I know probably more than the average bear about church history because of my husband. And so, in fact, we're going on a trip a missions trip that has a lot more to do with church history than I might even be comfortable with. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a future update. Anyway, so I get into this movie. I've got my big tub of popcorn, and it is me and every retired human being on the planet. Okay, there were 10. So there was 2 rows of all people that were in their 70s, 80s. Many of them did not know that they were inside a movie theater, I believe, because they were like, hey, how are you, screaming back and forth throughout the movie because I don't think they knew how loud they were, which is just fine. It was actually quite comical and really fun for me because I was like, these are my people. Like, I love going to a movie during the day when it is me and all the retired people. Like, it is fabulous. So anyway, I'm in this movie, and it is a movie about Benjamin Franklin and George Whitefield. Now, I'm going to feel dumb if I'm wrong, but I think they called him George Whitefield. Anyway, and so these 2 people and kind of how they knew one another and how it shaped America and this whole thing. And I am sure that the average person walked out of there going, wow, that was incredible. Because it's an incredible story. George Whitefield was friends with John and Charles Wesley, and they kind of took him under their wing and led him to Jesus, and all this stuff that happened in his life was just really incredible. And I think that the impact that he had on the U.S. and our colonies was incredible. Like, wow. But what I walked away from that movie with a very different feeling than probably the average person does. So he is a traveling speaker. That's who John Whitefield is. He built a pulpit and carried it on his horse and would just go into a field, put up a pulpit and preach. And people would just show up and get saved. And it was just amazing. And he was talking to Ben Franklin at one point. And so Kevin said it was a quote from George Whitefield. I thought it was a quote from Benjamin Franklin because I'm the history buff, American history. He's the church history. I would rather, now I've lost the quote. I would rather be ruined than rust out. I would rather get so exhausted than rust away because I haven't done anything. That was the non-quote that Jenny just made into a different quote. And that is how he lived his life. It was crazy. He didn't take care of himself. He ran and he ran and he ran. And in the movie, Ben Franklin, he's my best friend, me and Ben, Ben Franklin's actually over in England talking before the Revolutionary War, hey, you guys need to we're going to declare war if you don't do something. And someone comes in the room and is like, I have to let you know George Whitfield just died. And Ben Franklin is like, what are you talking about? He's a young man. And he was 55 years old when he died. And died not being rusty. Let's just put it that way. Like, he had a rough life because he pushed so hard. And as a traveling speaker who's about to turn 50, it hit me with a ton of bricks. I have to be honest with you. It just, like, hit me on the side of the head. I was like, I am a traveling person too. Am I, all that goes through your brain. Like, it was just one of those moments that I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I don't want to die rusty either. Like, that is not my idea of a fun time. But I also am kind of tired of being run ragged, right? Like, I am kind of tired of, like, running at a pace that is not sustainable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we all running this rat race that I think that's what people call it, right? Maybe that's a little too close to home for me. As far as, like, anyway, you don't care. Sorry, I just went down a tangent in my brain, and then I had to come back to this moment of, like, don't talk about mice right now, Jenny. It's not something we're talking about on this podcast. Yes, I'm feeling very overwhelmed by mice. Anyway, but I just thought, I walked away from this movie with a bucket of popcorn and a lot of, what am I doing with my life moments? My husband, I called him on my way home, and I'm like, hey, and he was like, how'd you like the movie? And I was like, I think it was actually a really well produced, beautiful movie, great soundtrack, great story, loved it, but I'm questioning my life right now. That's never the kind of movie that I want to see. I don't like things that shake up my life. Some people do. Some people love to walk into a movie or go somewhere and be scared or all those kind of. I like to walk into a movie and just, like, suspend reality. Like, I don't want to have to think about life afterwards, right? And this movie just kind of got into me. And it has now been a lot of days. And it's still, like, last night I'm about to go to bed, and I was like, what do I need to change about my life? What do I need to change to make this sustainable? And last podcast, I talked about stopping and looking at birds and smelling the roses. And I'm like, God, what are you doing? Like, who in the podcast world needs to hear you need to slow down other than me? Because obviously that's something that I need to figure out. And not that I have a busy life. I really don't. I feel like I've got really good balance. I feel like I am very good I'm not good at saying no. Let's just be honest. Sometimes I get myself into scenarios that I'm just like, how did I get here? How did I get here? Not that it's a bad thing that I say yes to things when someone's like, hey, can you help me out with this? And all of a sudden I'm, like, doing their grocery shopping. Yes, I have done that. I have done people's laundry. I have run their errands. I have, done favors and I love doing that for my friends and people and being helpful. But sometimes you just don't say no the way you should. And then all of a sudden you're, like, in this weird scenario going, how did I get here? Like, what is actually happening with my life, And that is what I felt like after this movie. Ben Franklin lived to a very old age for the time, under a lot of stress. But he also didn't run himself ragged. There was the contrast in the movie that I saw was the balance that he had compared to what George Whitfield had. And now George Whitfield was like, I want to win every person to Christ that I can. And you know what? That's my heart's desire too. I want to be someone that is an encouragement to people in their faith walk as much as I possibly can. Am I still doing this podcast? Yes. Have I been doing this podcast for almost 6 years? Yes. My 6 years is coming up, like, in a couple podcasts. Can you even believe I'm almost there? Like, I am willing to do the work, but am I willing to set a pace that I can actually maintain and that I can actually not burn out with? And I think for a lot of us, we have to start looking at, is this something that's going to burn out and I'm not going to be able to maintain it? Or is this a pace I can stay at? Because I don't think there's a lot of us rusting out. I don't think that there's a lot of us going, you know what? I'm getting a little rusty over here. I need to stop. I maybe need to do some more stuff. I don't know many people that are like, I should maybe do some more stuff with my life. If that's you, start doing some more stuff. Like, go after it. Let's do this. Let's make a difference. Volunteer, get involved. And then there's the rest of us that are doing it and we're like, I'm going to stop volunteering. I need to make some boundaries. Like, I need to figure this out. And so I encourage you, as I'm going to be walking down this journey, would you look at your life and go, am I burning my candle at both ends? And my candle's getting smaller and smaller? And what can I do to maintain that? What can I do to keep my candle burning for a longer period of time and that I can stay healthy? We got to take care of ourselves because it's not just about spiritual things. I mean, there are spiritual things. There are things we should be doing there. But eating right, drinking your water, drinking your cup of tea. Like, I know that you don't probably all drink tea, but you should be, right? I'm just kidding. Like, are you doing things that are bringing balance into your life? Are you actually taking care of yourself? Am I actually taking care of myself? Winter's over. My excuse for being outside and walking is gone. It's time for me to get out and start moving again and start learning how to take care of myself even better. And that doesn't mean that I need to be skinny and that I need all those things. It means taking care of myself to have a better productive life and a better balance. So you guys, that's what I'm going to try to do. Because this year is about trying things, and this year I'm going to try to have better balance. And maybe I will not die on the road at 55 like George Whitefield did. Now, granted, very different back then, on a horse, no medical stuff. I get all that. But I also know that he didn't have balance. And so I'm just asking you, do you have any balance? And if you don't, what can you add to bring some balance back? Well, that's all I have for you this week. I hope this was an encouragement. And go see the movie. I mean, I don't know if you need to see the movie. It was actually, I gave you the whole plot. You don't really care now. But anyway, you can find me on Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube. Subscribe, like, do all the things for me. I would really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. Even a comment makes a big difference in the algorithm and how things flow. So like, subscribe, all those pieces. Share with people. All makes a big difference. Really appreciate all your support there. You can go into like the bio and stuff, and now all of my like teas and snacks are linked, and you can go there and get all that if you want to support the podcast that way. But really, find balance. That's my heart for you. Go out this week and look at your to-do list and go, is this going to burn me out? And what can I do to add so I don't burn out this week? You all have a great week.